All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Breaks. We are doing an update video. A lot of you have watched the first video that I did on PSA, and when I calculate that they will be done with catching up, if we even want to call it catching up, because I don't think they're really worried about catching up. I think they're worried about perception. But anyway. In that video, I showed you guys some data that I pulled, some data that I put together. I also walked completely through my logic. If you have not seen that video, please pause this video, go back and watch that video, because that video is going to serve as a foundation and as a basis for a lot of what I'm going to go through here. So what we want to do is I pulled data again for today is April 20th, 2021. I pulled data once again on the 19th of the pop reports. I also took a snapshot of the complete through dates for the 19th. So we're going to take a look at both of those things. Let's jump over to let's see. My 419 and 412. Okay, so let's jump on over. Boop. All right, I'm still here. Don't get scared. Okay, so let's start with the data. Let's start with the data dump. Slightly better than the 22,000 average that they were doing, so they jumped up a little bit, which means that they got more cards out. They did from the 5th to the 12th, they did 111,000. They added 111,000 to the pop report, and this week was 119,000 to the pop report. So what is that? That's about, what is that, 7% increase? Not bad. Not bad. So, you know, from one week to the next, they jumped up about 11%, about 7%. So that's, it sounds to me like they're getting more people in, and they're starting to put together some stuff, which is good. Now, let's get into the days, the catch-up days. So before I added the new snapshot and before I added the new data, I had a projected date of the 16th of October of this year is when they were going to catch up. That has now dropped down to the 11th of October, which means they're making progress. That's good. Originally, I had it 181 days, and they have improved that to 175 days. So it's steadily going down. Now, the big point of contention in the comments in regards to my logic and my data was the 4,000, the assumed backlog of 4,000 of 4 million that I had. Again, go back and watch the video so you can kind of see where I pulled that from. It was very highly based on speculative information that PSA has reported. However, like I said, in the comments, you guys, a lot of you were saying, man, it's way higher than that. It's somewhere around 10 million. And then a handful of you said somewhere around 5 or 6 million. You guys felt like I was being very generous with this 4 million in backlog. So what I've done is, in an effort to not kind of override what I did, which is the 4 million, I went ahead and did a couple more scenarios. So in these two scenarios, actually, this one is incorrect. There we go. In these scenarios, I've highlighted two things. And you'll notice everything else is the same pretty much with the exception of the assumed backlog. I got one for 6 million and one for 10 million, which, rereading through a couple of articles and a bunch of other things, I mean, I can kind of see where either one of these is a good way of looking at things. However, I didn't want to discount the 4 million just in case it is in fact 4 million. So I decided to just throw up a couple of more scenarios. One at 6 million, one with a 10 million assumed backlog. Now, these dates are pretty spooky. 1022, 2022, if they're at a 6 million card backlog, then we're looking at January of next year before they get caught up. And if they're at a 10 million card backlog when this whole thing started at the beginning of April, then we're talking July of next year before they're fully caught up. Now, by fully caught up, I mean like fully worked through their backlog, assuming that they're receiving. Once again, go back and watch that first video. I'll link it in the description. I'll link it multiple times throughout in the cards throughout this video, just so you guys can go take a look at it. But those of you that watched the first video, this is kind of what we're looking at. So I went ahead and added 2 more scenarios, one for 6 million, one for 10 million in assumed backlog. And we're working through, it looks like, best case scenario, if my speculation of the 4 million card backlog is correct, we're talking October. If the middle scenario is, with a 6 million card backlog, then we're talking January of next year. And then the worst case scenario, the 10 million or 10 million plus, we're talking July. So here, the main thing is I took just a quick snapshot of what it was before I added the data from April 19th. And there is some improvement. There's some improvement, which is good. It's about a 5-day improvement. If we compound that week after week, then there's a good chance that right around July, August, they could probably be in a good position to kind of work through that backlog. Again, that's with the assumed backlog of 4 million. But that's kind of the reason why I wanted to keep these individual scenarios in here, because if we get, let's say that we get to October 11th, and for some reason PSA still hasn't released or opened up other services, or we're still seeing these ridiculous lead times or ridiculous turnaround times, then we know for a fact they had more than 4 million. If we get to January and the backlog is still, the turnaround times are still ridiculously long, and they're still just completely out of whack, which we will see in the complete through dates. Now, we'll look at that in a second, because I really feel like this analysis that I'm doing here is only one part of the story. The real tale of the tape is going to happen when we look at both this analysis as well as the complete through dates, which we'll take a look at in a second. And so if we get to January and everything is still out of whack in the complete through dates, then we know that they had a much bigger backlog than the 6 million, so on and so forth, right? And I may add a fourth one in here just for grins, but I'm going to keep these 3 here. So I got a 4 million card assumed backlog, a 6 million card assumed backlog, and a 10 million card assumed backlog. And here are their respective estimated catch-up dates. So a little bit of progress, what we're seeing, which is good, about 7 to 8% from last week, which is a good sign. That means that they're either expanding on their capacity, or they have shifted some of their workforce around, maybe doing things a little bit more efficiently. One of the things that I didn't touch on in the last video was that there is mention of lean principles being introduced at PSA. And if you are not in supply chain, or if you don't know what that means, lean principles, lean manufacturing is a way to streamline the manufacturing process. And essentially what you're doing when you are implementing lean is you are trying to eliminate waste of any kind within your manufacturing process. So that's a very, very interesting thing that PSA is doing, because it's what all big manufacturing companies try to do. So just YouTube, go on YouTube and just look up lean manufacturing, look up Six Sigma, SIXSIGMA, Six Sigma, and just kind of learn about some of those principles if you're interested. That's just my supply chain nerdy side that knows about that stuff. But it was interesting to see that PSA says that they're trying to implement some lean principles, because what I would attribute any future updates or any future improvements to would be the implementation of lean principles in their manufacturing process. So anyway, it's good to see some some improvement in their number from this week, from last week. So from last week to this week. So it's good. It's good to see that. Now here is this is, you'll see it in the this is from 4/12, which was last week, last Monday, and then here's 4/19. Now the walkthrough jumped up pretty good. So on 4/19, a walkthrough is taking them about 5 days. A super express is taking them about 12 days. An express, let's do this. Can I do this real quick? Draw. No. Cancel. That's not what I wanted to do. Cancel. I said cancel. Let's see. Edit. Can I draw on this? I should be able to draw on this, right? Okay, good. No, can I not draw on this? Okay, I can't draw on this. Anyway. So anyway, Express walkthrough is taking them about 12 days, it looks like. Express is still 2 months behind, which isn't bad. I mean, Express was still about 2 months back in April. So what we're doing here, what we want to see here, is this date relative to this date, right? So I took this snapshot on the 19th of April. So on the 19th of April, their oldest order was the 14th of April, which means that it was 5 days old for anything that was a walkthrough service level. The big one, so let's just, kind of keep going down the line here. So January 31st for regular services, which means January, February, March, April. So you're about 3 months on regular, which is actually not bad. Economy is still September 1st, September 3rd. Not much improvement on economy. Just a couple of days improvement in a week. So I got to imagine that, well, I mean, we really don't know where a lot of that improvement was made. Reholders, if you're just sending something in to get reslabbed, it's not much improvement there. Collectors Club vouchers, you're still right around September. September 1st, September 3rd. The big one here is September 1st to September 3rd. Not much improvement on economy, which I think is going to be their biggest backlog. And ultra modern quarterly specials, they're not even looking at quarterly specials right now. If you subbed something in on a quarterly special, like I said in the last video, let's open up. Let me see. 4/12 for, let's go 12 minus 7. Let's go here. April 4th. Quarterly specials was July. On April 4th, it was July 20th. And it was August 2nd, and it's still August 2nd. Man, they haven't made any improvement at all. Let me see. Let's just go back a little bit. July. So it seems that so this is April 11th. August 2nd, April 12th was August 2nd, and April 19th is still August 2nd. So they're not even looking at quarterly specials right now, according to this. They're also not looking at value vintage. It's still September 13th from last week and this week. So they're not looking at it at all. Let's take a look at let me see, what did it used to be? August, value ultra modern. Okay, July 20th. It seems like these haven't moved from July 20th to August 2nd. Okay, so they're not looking at potentially what could be their biggest mountains, in my opinion, which is going to be their quarterly specials. And it's going to be the value ultra modern, the value modern, and the value ultra modern. Now, August. So here's another good sign. Value ultra modern was the 21st of August, a week ago. That's not really that big of improvement. I don't want to toot their horn too much. Let's see. August. What was it? August 21st, which is here, to ultra modern to September 1st. So they've actually made a pretty good jump from the 21st to the 1st. So that's pretty good. So it seems like where they attacked a lot this week was in value ultra modern, because it dropped that complete through date, or brought it up to almost 2 weeks, almost a week, about 10 calendar days, which is about a week's worth of work. So that's pretty good to see. Collectors Club vouchers, don't hold your breath on those either. That didn't move much, maybe a few days. The big concern here is, for me, is these quarterly specials. They're just not moving. Doesn't seem like they're doing a whole lot there. TCG isn't moving a whole lot either, which I gotta assume there's quite a bit there. And then vintage is not moving a lot either. Value vintage, again, these are value, are the ones that you guys were submitting 50 cards at, $15 a card, $10 a card, whatever that was at the time. Modern only moved a couple of days, but ultra modern seems to be where they made their biggest dent. So again, I was talking about how we got to look at both of these, right? So this increase of about 7% seems to have come by way of ultra modern, which they made a pretty substantial dent in, and increased the dates. Again, what you want to see here is you want to see these dates get closer and closer to the date that I pulled it, right? Walkthrough, you want to see it pretty much on par. I mean, it looks like they're getting it about 5 days. Now, that's not business days. That's just calendar days. 5 calendar days, which means, they're on average, you're probably getting your stuff turned around in maybe 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 calendar days, working days. So that's pretty good. Super Express, I kind of glossed over that, but they were March 28th last week, and which was, almost 2 weeks away. They were almost 2 weeks on Super Express, and now they're still about 2 weeks, about 10 days. So not much there. I got super hype on that. I was like, oh, hell yeah. No, they're not. They're not. So yeah, ultra modern, it seems like where they made their biggest contribution this week. So what do you guys think? It seems to me like they're making some pretty good improvements. It seems like they're inching their way towards getting caught up, which is good. That's what we want to see. Hey man, I'm just reporting the news, folks. I really do enjoy doing this kind of stuff. Our next update is going to be on, let's see, what's next Wednesday? The 28th. So I'll pull data from the 26th. So for 26/2021. So I'll go ahead and pull that data on the 26th, and then fill this in, re-up the numbers, and we'll see what it looks like. This update is going to happen every Wednesdays. I'll do the data pull on Mondays. I'll do the analysis on Tuesdays, record the video on Tuesdays, and then I'll release the video on Wednesdays. So I think it's a pretty good schedule so far. Those of you that have been asking for this on a weekly basis, that is the plan. The plan is right here on this channel, hit your notification bells, because on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm in the great state of Texas, great city of Houston, Texas. So I'm on Central Standard Time. I release my videos at 6 p.m. on Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. So this particular update video will happen every Wednesday. The video that we release on Wednesdays is going to be this update video. So if you like this video, if you like this kind of stuff, if you like nerding out on this kind of data and data sets and all that stuff, which I totally do, consider subscribing. I got a bunch of stuff coming. We got SGC coming back. I got HGA coming back. I got a video I'm going to do on HGA. I got a video I'm going to do on PSA, and as to why I think they are no longer the #1 grading company in the hobby. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. Helps me out. And if you liked this video, hit the like button. It also costs you absolutely nothing, and it helps me out a ton. As always, I'll catch you guys next week on the update video. But until then, I love y'all. Peace.